welcome to another video here on the Critical Focus channel. First off, a big shout out to all my members who support my work and keeps the paint flowing and the electricity running. Members do get access to the member Discord, will influence the content, the matchups, whatnot. There is a join button below if you feel so inclined. But regardless, I am happy for your support in the form of actually just watching the video, of a like and a comment, and if you haven't already, please do feel free to subscribe as well. And if you are looking to buy Warhammer merch, there is an affiliate link in the video description as well. Let's get on with the video. The Skaven are a subterranean race, forever gnawing at the underbelly of the realms for their own nefarious purposes. For some, however, this undermining becomes an obsession, compelling them to plan ever more crazed delvings without heed for safety or limitation. Zikkit is one such zealot. As a Warlock engineer of the clan's Skryre, he has the know-how required to construct hazardous but effective digging machines powered by shards of pure warpstone, and the authority to use them however he sees fit. The portable warp grinder he carries not only tunnels through stone, but it carves through the very skin of reality to produce small and unstable gnaw holes through which Sikit can launch a deadly ambush or flee when he deems it appropriate. Zikkit first came to Embergard seeking realmstone with which to augment his maniacal digging apparatus. As he roamed the mines, however, a loftier scheme occurred to his devious sensibilities: to collapse swaths of the mining tunnels, burying his enemies beneath tons of igneous rock and ensuring only an excavator of his singular skill, as he sees it, could extract the now buried realmstone. That this would see Embergard itself collapse further into ruin, becoming prime ground for a city-sized weapons testing facility for the clan's Skryre, was just another merit of his plan. He is joined in his ambition by an apprentice of Sikkit's, who constructed a miniature doom wheel with warp grinder attached and has seemingly never left it. Hurtling through the tunnels, he revs his contraption's engines with reckless abandon, should he ever tax the device too far, as Sikkit's tampering has ensured he inevitably will. Any unfortunate bystanders are likely to be taken with him in the resulting catastrophe. Zikkit is accompanied by a pair of lowly acolytes he has cajoled into sharing his mad vision. Kritatok's specialized sniffer mask can detect concentrations of magical material, both buried in rock or on an opponent's personage. The tapping of his slender iron claws against rock is not only to detect weaknesses in the stone, but to stretch an enemy's nerves to breaking point before he strikes. Niche Cinchsnout, meanwhile, feverishly desires to join the highly destructive innovators of the Warlock bombardiers. Nothing brings him more manic glee than the blasting through sheer faces of rock with his warp bombs, either by hurling them himself or affixing them to single-minded blast vermin. The Emberwatch roil in the depths like a thunderhead, grim of aspect, stealing upon foes with terrible swiftness. Each of these stormcasts once belonged to a far-ranging vanguard chamber, the scouts of Sigmar's celestial armies. Their preferred battlegrounds were inhospitable wilderness, where merciless pragmatism was a sister virtue to grand deeds. The mines of Embergard are more claustrophobic than the plains and forests they once roamed, but these stormcasts shy from no hunting ground. Those who would plunder the mines beneath the Ashenmont are liable to be set upon by these tireless immortals. Each of the Emberwatch is the equal of several lesser warriors, and with their skill at ambush and the sudden strike, their coming as akin to the pitiless judgment of Sigmar himself. Though they wear the golden plate of the hammers of Sigmar, these stormcasts are far from celebrated heroes. Once, perhaps, They would have dueled with barbs and quips as they hunted, but their former camaraderie has been blunted by duty, the vagaries of war and the punishing reforgings with which Sigmar brings them back to life, and back to the fray, after each painful death. Faltering attempts to reconnect lead to arguments over some irritating habit or stark divergence of belief, and their attitude towards human intruders has become markedly more severe over time. But all the same, the Emberwatch remember that they are kin, and each would sacrifice for their brethren in a moment if needed. The leader of the Emberwatch, Ardon Flamerunner, is young by the standards of the Stormcast Eternals, but his talents are self-evident. Such deafness was owned on the action planes where he grew to manhood, and his dislike of subterranean fighting is eclipsed only by his hatred of the Skaven, who destroyed his home in creating the Gnaw. Farasa Twice Risen sees no dishonor in bringing death from the dark with her twin blades, attempts to probe into her past or to inquire after the cultic tattoos that mark the lower half of her face end poorly. Jorik Veltsign styles himself the mediator of the group, for he possesses the steady disposition of a marksman. Bearing a crossbow whose enchanted ammunition can alter its nature at his command, seeing it punch through walls or burst in blinding lightning, he has ended many evils before they can set upon his brethren.